All right, we are in. We can
Pause
go
it or go?
3, 2, 1, unpause. All right, Kilo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the first game of the series between KeeN and CBB. This is the finals, the bracket winners finals, and this series will determine who will go to the grand finals. In the bottom hand side of the map, we have in the blue Mr. Player playing as Zeus. To the right, on the right flank, we have Mosca playing as Isis, Orange Isis,
In the
and
blue.
all the way to the left, we have Tunisom playing as Gaia. Now, Kilo, if you wanna introduce our clanmates.
You're getting your colors mixed up. The player is in the yellow at the bottom. I'll do the top teams because you kind of confused me there. I thought I had my colors flipped. So on the top left, on the left flank for KeeN clan is Grass with his pink Gaia.
Okay.
In the teal, we got Keto on the Freyr in the pockets, and then on the right flank we have Kavat with his Isis.
So now, I mean, we have basically mirror gods on both sides. So the only difference is that in the pocket for KeeN, it's Keto's Freyr, and then in the pocket for CBB is Zeus. So what do you think about the choice of the pocket picks? Who do you think it favors?
I personally like the Zeus better here. I know that the KeeN clan has been talking about having, defensive god powers, and it's nice to have that in the pocket and all this, but I personally like players pick with the Zeus better. I think Zeus is stronger with his god powers. Like, he has Underworld, which is huge, especially on a map like this where you can't traverse the center of the map. There's an ocean or a sea covering it. And player is kind of notorious for, doing fast mythics and underworlding to the enemy side. So yeah, I would say I favor CBB's comp more.
Yeah, but it's gonna be extremely tough to set up because, like, Keto will have access to Gullimbursty. He will also have access to Tempest. So these kind of stuff tend to help deal with the underworld kind of thingy.
Yeah, it's a good response. I would say it's a good response to Zeus, but I think Zeus has the initiative here. Freyr's just that safety pick. They're just being safe, right? They got anti-cheese with Freyr, and I think I don't know if they're accounting for CBB to do any cheeses. I feel like they know. I think this game might go very long. I think CBB's game plan is to play a long game.
Do you think they have more chance in the late game than in the early game? Like if you're talking like.
Okay, considering, right, individualistically speaking, there's Keto, right, rank 1, previous rank 1. There's Kavath, rank 1, and Grass, rank 1. And Mosca, has been rank 1. He's like qualified for a Tonnison, has as well, but player hasn't. And I think that going super late game with, I think if it goes very late, right, KeeN is at an advantage. Just based off their players.
I see, that's fair. But I also wonder, like, if anyone is watching who doesn't really know how the water fights go, could you explain that more in detail, please? Like, for example, let's say the game starts, you open one dock, right? So you add another dock, you make some fishing ships, and then once the fight starts, if let's say
usually the meta, right? I guess for Mediterranean, right, is you open with 9 fish, and then you advance to classical age, and you just instantly start fighting water, right? I've only played this one time, I think, in this tournament, or in what I can remember recently, and yeah, it's usually whoever fights water and wins it first is at the advantage, right? But this game being retold, water's not too necessary. It's good, right? It's better than it was on release, but I genuinely don't know, like, if let's say right now Mosca, right, he's out. I think he's the first one with ships out attacking.
yeah, he
CBB
already
takes
has
water early. Maybe KeeN is gonna go grab DCs. But I have no idea.
Yeah, Moscow already has 2 hammer ships cruising around the waters of Kavat. He's just chilling, trying to prevent Kavod from gathering any fish in the middle, but Kavod does have access to the close fish, and he opens up with the 2 arrow ships, which are counter to those hammer ships. So Kavod should be fine here to continue his shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yes.
Let me pronounce it in my own way, bro. I just add the flavor to it, you know. The Slavic flavor to the casting things.
Right. I see Keto throwing down his Asgardian Bastion in the base of Kavoth.
So they are kind of expecting Kavod to get pushed, probably doubled here. So that's why Kido is trying to help here.
We see player coming in through the pocket, making ships, and Keto is on the back foot here. So it's looking like CBB is definitely taking this water advantage early. Snakes gets casted down from Mosca. A restoration from player.
Seems like everything has been used on this fight.
2 god powers from CBB team so far.
I don't know why these serpents are unchanged. I think they're really good on water, and I don't really think that should be the case.
Yeah, and Grass is in a 1v1 now with the Gaia on the left side, and it looks like... I genuinely can't tell. I think Tennyson is holding. I kind of feel like there's also a defender's advantage, right? So if you start attacking first, I don't know if you necessarily have the advantage, as we see on the left side. Looks like Tennyson's able to muster up a big army, and it's coming out faster at his dock, so he's able to hold.
But like my understanding on these water wars are like, if you manage to cast your god powers offensively and then you force defensive cast from the opponent player, like opponents, you're kind of in a better spot, just based on the fact that he had to cast his god powers using it defensively, and then you can kind of chill and gather your fish safely under your docks.
This one's looking kind of rough on the left side for Grass. Player was able to go to the side of Tennyson before Keto could get the Grass. This seems pretty
even.
I would say CBB's at the advantage right now on the water. Especially Grass is idle now on 9 fish, right?
Yeah.
So that's not good. And we see a forward TC coming down with a butt ton of vills for Grass.
Both
so I feel
player and
they might be giving up on water.
Player and Moscow both taking a back TCs now as well. And then there is nothing's happening. Does KeeN know about the TCs? Not really. Kido also taking his back TC. I'm assuming they are gonna like stop producing on the water, like both teams. They will be opting for the land, and that is a good decision, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that is a good decision.
I think we're both going to be learning what the better decision was by the end of this game. Now we see KeeN pushing back very hard, CBB side. But Grass lost his side, so I think it'd be wise for KeeN to not pressure the water as hard with Keto and Kavant. Looks like Grass is finished with that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's from KeeN's side is producing any more ships. They're just transitioning to land. This is all there is for them on the water, and they are not going to be making more. Now Grass took a 30C as well, which is also kind of okay, I guess. You kind of need to catch up on that economy, but that does open up a possibility for Tunison to kind of put some pressure on Grass, because he will have more stuff than Grass has, simply because Tunison has the water and Grass does not really. But Grass is still taking some... He's fishing though. He's still on the fish. There is some fight happening in the middle. Kido trying to hold on, but he will be losing all his ships, and that will spell the end of the water fight for now.
CBB comes out on top of the water fight. They have not spotted Grass's third TC, so Tennyson might be spotting in about 5 seconds. What is the response from Tennyson? He's just going to start queuing Merms. And we see Grass is already on the offensive on 3 TCs with units coming out. So Grass, very good spread on his eco.
Grass spending his resources really good. He does have incredible management, and on the other side, Tunison kinda has a lot of gold but no food still. He's trying to make those Murmillo numbers to build them up. He's making armory and the market. That's gonna be a heroic now for him. There is a cheeky Minotaur here waiting for his opportunity to put some pressure in.
So yeah, like we were talking about earlier, what happens, right, with the water, if who wins when they grab TCs, whatever. We see that CBB cleaned the water. However, KeeN is fully on 3 TCs right now. So too, Moscow is getting his third, except Grass and Keto are setting up on Tunison's third on the left side, so they have the initiative on the left. And this is actually very nice from Keto. He's not only on the left side, he's also on the right side as well. So he's going to be able to respond to whatever side he needs to. That's, I would say, proper play. And the only downside, right, is that Zeus is going to have a very big underworld if he goes up through Apollo. I'm losing you, Matoba. Matoba, Optimus Prime. Oh no. I can no longer hear Matoba.
Quite good.
Okay, there you go. You're back.
Alright, good, good. There is like 40 degrees outside, so like my PC
Oh,
is
stop
giga
sharing your
hot.
screen as well on Discord.
Do you need my screen?
No, stop.
Should be
Like
good.
for that lag issues, you know, make sure you don't lag out.
Alright, so player is, I'm assuming, on 3 TCs as well, yes, and he is gonna be having that juicy underworld. He aged up through Apollo. He's not making any units though. I'm assuming player might be looking for that half and then underworld. Do you think that's the right approach, or should he maybe like speed up his underworld, do it in heroic, and then look for that half angle maybe?
I think the better angle is probably going Hephaestus first, but something worth mentioning here, Keto is actually going to be on 4 TCs. He steals the left TC of Tunison, and that's going to be big for this Ghoul Bursty as well. It's very close to Tunison's main base.
They are going to be pressuring Tunison's main base hard here. They set up really good setup on the 30C of Tunison. Plenty of buildings here. And they also have a decent army. Like, looking at the military graph, it shows that the CBB has a little advantage, but they have plenty of boats. So that means... Go on, yes?
They're going crazy right now on the left side, and I don't see an army from player. Is he going? Let me check, see if he's going on Mythic. Yes, he is going up Mythic now, so this is going to come down to player to get his upgrades and be able to hold this left side and push them back. And it looks, yeah, they're pushing hard. KeeN is pushing very hard on the left, and Keto is on the right side, just walling up everywhere of his of Kavoth's ISIS. They just want to steamroll the left. This is going a lot faster than I imagined it.
I think that's the right approach, though. They have to do something. They do know that if they wait for a long time, they are going to be behind because of the fish, and then like it's going to be harder to push up until a moment where like fish economy doesn't really matter anymore. And it seems like
they need to get this position broken through before player responds, but player's already out here with these Hephaestus and a bunch of infantry buildings getting thrown down.
But I don't think that's gonna matter. I think this position is being overrun. Maybe it will matter though. Player kind of pushing back with these Hephaestus.
On the right side of the map as well, Kavoth rolling through the forward base of Moscow, taking out the front TC. He's pushing into double Migdal now, and the army from Kavoth looking very massive.
Moscow is going through Saris right now, so if he manages to get to Saris, that will be a problem for Kavoth. But right now, Kavoth does have an incredible advantage, I feel like. Maybe I'm tripping.
No, Kavoth definitely has the advantage there, for sure. We see...
Now on the left side, they're resuming the push. They have a lot of units. This looks like a scary push. Grass is also creeping with the fortresses, trying to get them forward. There is a scary mass of throwing X-Men right now for Kido, which are gonna be a great answer to these Hypaspis. But player did manage to get to the Mythic, and now the upgrades are gonna be going through. But there is one important thing to remember, that half was nerfed last patch, so he's not gonna provide immediate value as he did earlier. Player is gonna need at least 4 minutes before he managed to get all the upgrades.
This one's looking kind of iffy here. Me being a KeeN member, I'm a little bit nervous with this Hephaestus here. And they dropped the TC, but it's seeming to me that I'm predicting player is going to definitely easily be able to break out this left side and start pushing. But on the right side, Kavoth, his army got repelled, and Mosca, he's got Osiris, he's got 2 Migdols, Siege Works. I feel like Mosca might start mowing down Kavoth on the right side.
That is a possibility, definitely. But I think the game is gonna be decided on this left side. If KeeN manages to take this DC of Tunison and push further in, I think they will be in a good spot.
Just see this big backline of throwing Axemen from Keto. The throwing Axemen got buffed on the last patch. However, the generalist unit of throwing Axemen got nerfed. They're better as a counter unit, but it seems like people are just using them as a big archer ball. The military spread is looking way bigger for the KeeN side at the moment on the left side.
There are some Arcus coming in for grass as well now. I don't know if that's the right choice of unit, because Peltas are starting to form a decent numbers here.
I like the addition of Arcus. I think when you're pushing like this, you're required to have a big mass. You know, Army Corps would refer to it as the meat grinder, right? You're gonna want a big mass of ranged units that can just constantly DPS. But also an issue in the new patch, right? Because we love to break the game with every single patch and then fix it after. I feel like you have to manually micro the backline more, because they'll just start attacking buildings when you attack move, and I've just seen that happening with the wall.
That is true indeed. I've seen that myself a couple of times in this new patch.
Yeah. And now... yeah, Mosca's looking very healthy on that right side. I'm a little worried right now, judging off the scores.
Oh my god, this is gonna be a huge... Sorry for interrupting
and now,
you.
Underworld.
In the back. Golden Bursty coming out immediately, and this pick should be able to clean everything. Oh, not now.
No,
this is gonna be scary, yes.
Now this is the big problem. Player is unleashed. He's reformed in his natural habitat of late game Hephaestus with his tried and true Zeus. This is what he does best. And so this might get a little messy here. Let's see how Keto is going to respond to this. Throwing down a bunch of barracks in his back. He's going to have to hold this. I think this is the win condition right here for CBB. He's cutting off 2 trade routes, right? Excuse me, he's cutting off 1 trade route. That's Kavoth's.
I think Keto kind of needs to pull back and deal with this. And Grass kind of has to hold alone. There was a Son of Osiris on the side of Kavoth too, so Kavoth should be fine here with his own Son of Osiris. He shouldn't struggle to hold, I think. But the problem is player in the back. He is just destroying villagers left and right. Caravans going down as well. There is literally no units for KeeN to kind of deal with this.
Losing his Osiris right now is a very bad thing. Oh, here we go. We see the Inferno.
Oh my god, the Inferno killed every single Peltas.
Now Keto's army is back in here ready to deal with this underworld. I think he had to trek across the whole map, which is not too good there. Yeah, this is looking very, very scary for Kavath's side. He's lost all of his military. He has one single Migdol that he's producing from, Kavath. And he has no more Migdol. He has no barracks. He's completely naked and afraid. I don't see him on a gold mine either. I do see him on one that's getting hit by player. Kavath is absolutely getting the worst end of the stick. Yeah, I don't know. If you're asking me right now, I would say this is over. I think CBB pulled through.
You don't think Kavath can hold this? He does have plenty of Pitsukos plus Mami here. That double Mami actually, that should be enough to clean all these camels on the front line. But there is Osiris now coming in. He's gonna decimate those mid units. Okay, Mosca might have overextended his Son of Osiris. He might die in this position. He's surrounded by camels. Camels are gonna take down the Son of Osiris. And this might be the turning point for Kavath to kind of push back. Son of Osiris is down. Mosca has to pull back for the time being. But the problem for... Sorry, go on.
But grass pushing on the left side, like this is a big issue with this patch. I'm seeing it now. These Arcus, they're in the back line, and they're just getting stuck on all these structures, walls and farms. So it is kind of annoying being the aggressor with these range units. It's a lot easier to defend because you don't have to micro them. And Kavath did manage to hold his side pretty well. I'm surprised.
The problem is though, in the back, player is still running Rampart. He is not planning on stopping. He has his towers. His units are kind of like here and there. I think
he's touched the underworld from the front. This is good.
But he didn't manage to destroy it. 1000 more health left for the underworld in player's base. But Grass is holding strong here.
Both Grass and Tennyson are gonna be up, I'm assuming through implode at the same exact time, it's looking like, within 10 seconds from each other.
And this is gonna be...
I think Grass gets it first though, and if he gets it first, he's gonna be able to drop down his implosion right where he's pushing, and hopefully it destroys that underworld. But if we take a look at revealed map, yep. Oof.
Player is coming back though.
He's not here as well. So there's two people on the backside of KeeN clan from CBB.
I think this implode...
losing his one with Mosca right now, pretty roughly.
That is not good. He's been pushed back to his main TC. He lost his forward one. Mosca is taking that because he's gonna be on 4 TCs. But I don't think Kavath is out of the game just yet. He still has... his main base.
Tennyson coming in there, sneaking a palace right on the water line. The main base of Kavath. You see the implode come down. I don't like that positioning. I think that's Grass's implode.
Grass's implode is on the front line, and then the second implode is on the back from Tennyson.
Where was Tennyson's implode?
In the back, where player has been building his proxy base.
The Underworld, okay.
I think Underworld is dead though, so that is a good thing.
Still up.
Still up?
Still up.
That's
yeah,
unfortunate.
Grass did not place his implode on top of it, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, KeeN
tapped
out, Grass tapped out, and the rest of the team followed. Good game, well played from CBB. They did this really good. It turns out Greeks are really good on water maps, right?
Definitely, and that's kind of what it came down to, right? Like, player, he got the Mythic Age. He was able to not only get the Mythic Age, but he was producing units while going Mythic too, which is a big deal. And Grass and Freyr, or Keto's Freyr, they were not able to break through Tennyson fast enough, and they stabilized. Tennyson did a great job holding that 2v1 for a long time. Player goes into his natural habitat of doing a big underworld in the back of their base, and I would say player is kind of MVP here. He was definitely the win condition, that underworld for sure.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Underworld was what won them the game, it feels like. And then of course, like Tennyson 1TC holding grass on 3 was really good also. That is something that's really hard. But Tennyson managed to get it. Alright, let's go back to the draft. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we should have... Hello? What's happening? Where's my game? Alright, nice. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have the game 2 of the series between CBB and KeeN. And first of all, I want to say that in this series it's not gonna matter the positioning of the top side. Like, this map is complete madness. I will talk about that a bit later, but let's introduce the players for now. In the red color, in the top of the map, we have Mosca playing as Sat. In the orange color, in the bottom right of the map, we have Tennyson playing as Uranus. And in the left hand side of the map, we have player playing as Hades in the yellow. And on the KeeN side, we have, in the top left corner, we have pink player Kavot as Uranus. On the right hand side of the map, we have Grass playing as Thor. And then on the bottom left side of the map, we have Kido as Freyr. Now, the thing I want to talk about is this map. This is a new map, new addition to this tournament's pool. That has been added in the playoffs, and it's an absolutely insane map. As you can see, you don't have your allies close by, you're in between the enemies. So I have seen some incredibly tough games here, incredibly fun games as well. There's a lot of possibilities that you can actually try and do on this map, but I think the main thing you wanna avoid is taking a second TC. Like, no matter if you have time or not, like, taking a second TC here spells doom, like 99 out of 100 times. Like, I can see players taking a TC after they secure advantage, but like before that, absolutely not. There also seem to be like kind of a meta established for this map. So Uranus, Hades seem like a really solid picks here. I haven't seen a lot of Eggy outside from Mosca. Mosca likes to play Egyptians here. I'm kind of curious to see what he's gonna do. I'm assuming he's gonna abuse the shifting sand, so that does give him a good tool to move around the map and help the teammates if needed. Of course, Hades can cast Sentinels always. Thor is also good because of the Dwarven Goldmine that you can cast if you're in a pinch. Finally, no Aztecs this map. Almost Legacy Gods. Yeah, kinda. I do think the Aztecs are really nice in this map. Kinda, to a degree. Alright, so what we see here, we see what the players actually know. So not much. So Grass actually has no clue what's happening. He is Thor though, he used herding and he did go with his armory build, so he doesn't really know what's happening. He has one armory upgrade, second one coming through, so that's gonna be nice addition. Kido, also Norse, doesn't have a great early game scouting, so he's just trying to see what's around his base. Well, here Kavot does have a pretty decent scouting, but he didn't uncover where are the enemies, while on the other side CBB has almost entirety of the map scouted. They kind of have an objective idea of what is gonna happen here. Now, from what I saw in the games that I watched on this map, like, the basic rule of thumb is to kind of double one guy and then the other team doubles the other guy, and then whoever manages to take their guy faster and like kill more villagers is usually the team that's gonna win. Like, if they manage to overpower him, right? So if the player that's been being doubled managed to hold, that is actually incredibly good for his team and provides time which they actually need to clean up the opposite player on the opposite side. Oceanus is in for Kavot. Oceanus is in for Tennyson as well, kind of expected. There is also Pta for the Moscow, which we talked about that. Really good choice. For Seti on the side of grass, and then Uller for Kido. Now Kido can do something interesting with his Guardian Bastion. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Kido actually went for some sort of ramp push with the Bastion. He can put the Bastion like forward and try to surprise, like, let's say, Tennyson, but I personally don't think the Uranus is the best target for the double, because he can always jump into Sky Passage and put the Sky Passage, let's say, here, and then he can just go out and take the resources on this side and be absolutely fine. Now we do see Kido trying to secure the gold mine and some hunt, or Tennyson is close by, but he is not going to be able to actually deny this. There is a Draugr as well as a couple of herds here, so these should be plenty enough to take care of this. Shifting Sands has already been used. Mosca is going for that aggression early on. He has a couple of spearmen, but these spearmen are not going to be all that effective versus Herseers, but Kido nevertheless has to retreat now. But this also means that Mosca is wide open to attack. Like, he did shift 15 spears, so he doesn't really have any units in his base, which grass can exploit to a degree. There is a Wajet here, which is kind of defensive tool, but if grass goes for the Herseers, that should not be a problem. But I don't see grass. Grass is sending his units towards to this side. He's trying to pressure on the Tennyson. There is a one hero Murmillo, but good micro from grass defending this troll. Tennyson kind of needs more units here. He is going to be pressured off of this gold, probably. House is going to get denied. Probably want that citizen if he doesn't jump in the manor. He does have that option always. Seems like Tennyson is doing pretty good now with few units he does have at his home base. He is picking a good fight under TC. Grass just pulling away one hearse here, and now Tennyson is coming back with majority of his army, which is gonna spell the runaway kind of thing for Grass. Grass has no place here. He should retreat. Definitely these Murmillos are completely gonna destroy Herseers if they actually stay and fight. There's also a Caladria, so this bad girl is gonna heal all these Murmillos that are low HP, and Grass also sacrificing one to save many. Legit tactic. Kido on this side kinda safe. He did fend off the initial aggression. He did lose the Asgardian Bastion, but he can play safely. Even after that, he doesn't really have to worry. Player amassing his army. He has a couple of Hippicons, but nothing really is happening here. CBB kind of playing a defensive game for the time being. They're not really trying to pressure anything. Like, Tennyson is putting a bit of pressure on Grass, but Grass doesn't have to worry all too much about this. Just one ball going down. He's gonna try and snipe one Murmillo. One Murmillo does go down. Grass gets the towers, and Tennyson has to bail now. So that is a good move from Grass, although he is being pressured by Moscow in this position as well. That could be problematic for him. I'm not sure if he does have any villagers in this position. That is not the case, so Grass doesn't really care about that wall going down. He's gonna have his Dwarven gold mine as well, so it's not gonna be the biggest of problems for Grass to hold on to these position for now, at least. Now Kavod is doing what Kavod does the best. He's trying to exploit these high passages to the fullest. He's doing a great job with it. Every time he does, he lays his hands on Uranus, so that's something that if anyone wants to learn how to actually play Uranus, they should check out Kavod's recorded games. This guy knows the job, and he does it really well. He's gonna get pressured a bit by player. Player does have plenty of Hippicons here, but I don't really hate these Hippicons. These are not gonna be the greatest of threats. Now Kido is trying to push onto this position to take TC. There is an angle for the Golem Bursty that could absolutely decimate the army of Tennyson, but Kido is gonna hold on to that one for now. He doesn't want to waste the Golden Bursty. He's trying to defend this TC, and it does seem like he's going to be able to do so. Murmillos are going down. There is a couple of throwing X-Men, so that should be plenty enough to deal with this situation that he has at his hands. Tunison kind of losing plenty of Murmillos, but KeeN is also losing plenty of army here. And Tunison, having those 3 Caladrius, is saying, let's go. He doesn't care about the TC fire. He's just going to keep on pressuring KeeN, and this TC just might go down. KeeN still holding onto that Golem Burst, even though he has the access too, but I can see the angle he's thinking about. He doesn't want to waste it. Tunison can easily just run away if KeeN does decide to cast it. He cast it right now. I guess he was waiting for the TC to get incredibly low. Probably testing if Tunison is going to be persistent enough to try and take it down. But Tunison just says, nah, I'm not going to take that fight. A bit of a blunder here from Tunison. Damage is taken by the big bad pig. One Murmillo goes down, second one goes down as well. But Tunison has managed to retreat. Now on the top side, we do see... Hey, player is circling around the Kavod, but Kavod has a really strong army of these Murmillos, and he's gonna be able to take down these Hippicons no problems. These Murmillos are 5.3 speed. These are only 0.2 speed faster than Murmillos. That maybe, just maybe, Kavod could mix some Catapultis in as well. That is probably a huge investment, considering that Weightless Mace does cost quite a lot. But I do think it's a good investment. Weightless Mace absolutely shuts down all the Hippicon raids. Now in this position we do see an amazing micro from KeeN. He's managing to get absolutely every single Murmillo that here. Tunison trying to pressure, but KeeN will gladly take this fight. There is a TC, there is a Bastion coming up as well. But it seems like KeeN doesn't really have enough units to hold this, but Tunison doesn't have enough either to stay under this TC, and he has to bail. The damage TC is not the biggest of problems for Freyr, of course, because Freyr always can repair it for free, so it's not really something Freyr has to worry about. The main thing for KeeN here in this position is to hold. If he manages to hold, then that's gonna be absolutely amazing for him. Now in this position, Grass is kinda fighting the Mosca, the aggressor. He has managed to do so with success. Mosca is preparing for the big push though. He does have mid goal, and oh my god, there is an underworld coming in. Where exactly is this underworld? On the side of KeeN. KeeN is gonna be under a lot of pressure here. He has to bail on this position, but he does manage to save all the units and the workers. But the Asgardian Bastion is once again denied. CBB is playing a really clean game so far. Denied Asgardian, denied TC here for KeeN. KeeN is gonna retreat back and try to rebuild in his main base once again, but that does eliminate the threat of Underworld that CBB was holding on. Now Kavod has brought his army here to help KeeN out. And Grass is going for the big push. There is a flaming weapon. They are gonna absolutely decimate all that Mosca has. Mosca is in a big trouble right now. He doesn't have enough units to fight, and I'm not gonna start about the flaming weapons. Mosca absolutely cannot afford fighting these flaming weapons. He needed to bail, but Grass caught him hands down, and he is gonna be taking down this mid goal on the forward position, as well as the monument and the siege workshop. This is great move by Grass. There is a... Oh my god, Mosca coming in with a lot of the X-Men, but flaming weapons still on. Mosca trying to secure this position, while on the other side, Restoration and Chaos have been used. Player kind of countered that Chaos of Kavod with the Restoration, and now the units for CBB are full health, and this is gonna be really tough for KeeN to hold. They kind of have units to deal with this to a degree, but it's gonna be extremely tough nevertheless. Big fight is happening. I can't really see what's happening, but what I can see is that Player's army absolutely melted, and now the Kavod is gonna be on the offensive, while on the other side Grass has been defeated on this position. Majority of his Hersiers have been dealt with. Moscow was ready for the Hersier push, and he has made a butt ton of access to kind of deal with that, and he managed to do so perfectly fine. But Kido also held. Now the problem for KeeN is this underworld, kinda like in the last game. The underworld is a big problem because it's constant surge of units from player on the same position, and he can always switch back to this side if needed. So that is not something that is extremely good for KeeN, but it's alright, I guess. Kavod seems to be in a good spot now. His units are extremely strong, and he's helping Kido here in this position. As Guardian Bastion has been dropped, I don't know where exactly. Meanwhile, Grass is going hard on this position. Once again, he's trying to micro his Hersiers away from the exit, and seems like he has managed to do so. There are some raiding cavalry mixed in right now, so priests are just tickling these battle boards. Pero is coming in to help, and Grass has been pushed off once again. Seems like Grass just cannot break through this position of Moscow. Moscow holding strong, while his teammates are pushing strong on the other side. Tunison taking the forward TC that Kido has taken before. There are a lot of Petrobolos on this position, and these are gonna mow down through these buildings. Now, it's gonna be hard for Kido and Kavod to hold this army, because probably if he wants to, player can go for the third restoration actually, and quite frankly I think that is the right way to go. I'm assuming Kido is gonna be going through the A-gear, so that's gonna give him Tempest, and that's gonna be absolutely incredibly hard for CBB to deal with. Big fight is happening. Kavod is lowering the units right here. The Tempest has been dropped, and now CBB is gonna retreat from here. Of course, they do not want to fight this, but big shockwave from Kavod, and a lot of units are gonna be falling here. Petrobolos going down one after the other, and Kido and Kavod have managed to absolutely repel this push, and now they might even try to search for the push of their own, and this position is in danger. Now the problem is that I think Tunison is raiding Grass in this position, so Grass kinda has to deal with Tunison while he's dealing with the Muscat that's gonna be menacingly roaming around his main base. But if he manages to hold long enough, there is a possibility that Kido and Kavod will be pushing through Tunison and player here. Now, Tunison and player do not really have enough stuff to deal with this front line that Kavod has. Kido is mixing some Huskarls and Berserkers, which are going to be great as well. And seems like CBB decided to abandon this position, which is smart in my opinion. I think they cannot really contest this. They have to bail and try to find damage elsewhere. Their best bet, to be honest now, would be to kind of try and kill Grass. Grass is in a tough spot right now. He has lost his flaming weapons. He has lost the second push attempt as well, and seems like he would be the easiest target out of all the players that are in the game still. Second TC from Kavod coming up onto this position. There is a sky passage here, and Kavod and Kido are gonna try and push through the main base of Tunison. Tunison now is... What is he doing? I'm assuming he's... Not really sure. There is a big push from Kavod. Kavod is absolutely playing this one amazing. He's trying to get the main TC of the player's Mythic Age is gonna be denied, and player loses the fastest Mythic Age. He has to take it all over again. His main TC has fallen, and Moscow uses the shifting sands here. That will mean that KeeN has to retreat, but that also means Grass has more time to kind of stabilize here. Moscow does have 3 TCs. Moscow is absolutely huge in this game. And like, he has been uncontested after the flaming weapons fight that he managed to win. And now Grass, I don't know what Grass can do here. Those battle wars are not gonna have the greatest of times versus Tony's Hero Murmillos, but these Hersiers are doing the work, and Hero Murmillos are forced to back down for now. Kido has a menacing army. He's gonna try and secure this portion of the map. Like, the one thing they can do is try and wall Tennyson in, so they kind of restrict his movements and try to prevent him from doing anything sneaky. That could be a good choice. Grass trying to take this TC here, but Tennyson has seen it, and now the big fight is gonna start. Here, Tennyson is gonna try and prevent this, and Grass doesn't really have enough units, and he's gonna have to abandon this position. And this TC half down is abandoned by Grass. Grass kind of needs some help. Either that, or if KeeN can manage to kill one of the players. Now, Muska's army did do the shifting sands, and then after that, they are gonna be pushing onto Grass. Grass is gonna have a really tough time right now. Although he can buy time for Kido to kind of try and push. Grass did sneak a couple of battle boards onto this TC. Hero Murmillos are coming, but Kido needs to defend these battle boards, and he does exactly that. These battle boards are not gonna go down anytime soon, actually. Tennyson has to retreat now, but I think this TC will go down, and on the other side, Kavod is trying to deal with Player, but Player does have a good answer, but seems like that TC deny was kind of hurting him quite a lot. He did manage to kill Hephaestus back up again, but that's gonna delay him for quite a few minutes, and that could be extremely good for KeeN right now. Seems like the main base of Tennyson has been breached through, but he does have enough units to actually stand ground here, even though his main TC is dead. Now, Tennyson has the TC here as well. That is something that he can be happy with. And Grass has been absolutely mowed down. His main base is dead. He's gonna be trying to save as many as he can, but that's gonna be extremely tough. He has 33 villagers, actually, not the worst of situations, but he has to kind of hide them, or else he's gonna have a lot of troubles. He's trying to make a market so he can do something here, but it does seem he is in the worst position right now. Kavod has to kind of... Oh my god, Kavod has managed to bridge to Player. Player is gonna be losing so much stuff. Kavod actually managed to cancel the Mythic Age for Player twice in a row, and that's gonna spell demise of Player. Player will lose a lot of villagers. He's trying to fight back, but Kavod has so many units in this position, and he's not willing to let any of these villagers survive. He's gonna be trying to chase all of them. 25 villagers for Player. Player and Grass kind of in the same boat here. But the thing is that I think... Actually, no. Tennyson and Kido are kind of even. But now Kavod can start pushing onto Muska, and Muska doesn't really have any defenses here, which can be kind of problematic for him. 90 villagers for Player. 29 for Grass. Grass also does have some units. He has Hillford, Asgardian Bastion coming onto this position from Kido. Now Grass will try and hold. As long as he can hold and buy time, that's going to be absolutely amazing for his team. Because Muska currently is really, really huge. I have said it before, I'm going to say it again. Like, if he can buy enough time for his team to actually do something with the Tennyson, as he did for the Player, KeeN could be in a good spot. But it does seem that Kido is going to be trying to push once again. He does have a really strong army here. Tennyson is trying to take advantage of this choke point, but these berserkers of Freyr are just going to be deleting the Murmillos. That is something that I certainly did not expect. There were some throwing X-Men in the back helping, but seems like this Kido's push is going to be quite effective. Tennyson is trying to hold, but Kido is just flooding with the units. He has berserkers coming up from every direction. And the TC is gonna go down once again for Tennyson. Tennyson is having some problems right now. He is down on TC. He doesn't have any army left. And it seems like he's losing steam. He does have a pretty long queue, but he doesn't really have plenty of resources left. And Kido is gonna be satisfied with this. He has managed to bridge through, and now he can go through and help Grass hold as well. But the question is, can Grass hold this position long enough? He's trying to buy himself a time. He does need to take care of these siege towers, because those are really pain in the ass for him right now. But it does seem like he's doing a decent job. This Guardian Bastion is gonna be finished as well, and Moscow will not want to fight under double hill forts on this position. Now, Kavad is pushing onto this side. There is a sky passage here for a good measure. He has killed an incredible amount of villagers here, and he's trying to take down the citadel center. Moscow is having a troubles. There is a chaos onto this position on a few units, but that will provide him enough time to actually destroy this, and for the satyrs and archers to kind of do some damage. Great move by Kavad. He has managed to bridge through this position as well. We do see Avengers. Moscow did go through Horus, and Kavad decides to pull back. He doesn't want the smoke of Horus. This Avenger is gonna do the work. All the archers will go down, probably the satyrs, but Kavad too has aged up with the vortex. He has access to an incredibly strong god power, and player has called it. Tennyson and Moscow follow. GG, well played. Game 2 goes into the hands of the KeeN. So we have the series, ladies and gentlemen, 1-1 currently. Alright, did I transition? Alright, we are in. So, this map is gonna completely fry my FPS as it always does, but it's okay. So the map is Mythic, and for the third game, coming up after tough loss in game 2, CBB player, yellow player as Zeus in the pocket. There is gonna be Tennyson, red as Gaia on the top flank, and on the bottom flank we have Moscow playing as orange Isis. Now on the other side of the map we have KeeN, who has managed to bounce back after also a tough loss in game 1. Now Kido is gonna be playing Thor in the pocket. On the bottom side there is gonna be Kavod as Zeus, and on the top side we will be seeing Grass, once again pink Grass as Gaia. Now I have spoke about this. This is the same matchup we have seen in previous game 1. It's basically the same players, same gods. The only difference is that this time around, Kavad decided to go for Zeus instead of Isis. So he seems like KeeN has understood the value of Sky Passage of the Underworld, and they did decide to pick Greeks this time around. But that is the only change, and then there is probably gonna be a change in the approach, because I don't think both teams are gonna approach the game same, because Kavad here is on the pocket, is on the side, and player is in the pocket. So player does have a luxury to go heroic, and then try and greed Mythic, and then try and do something, beat the Underworld Mythic, full iron, that kind of stuff. But I think Zeus is extremely dangerous as a flank as well. Although Isis does fare very well into Greek right now. She does have access to Thought. The elephants are absolutely incredibly tough for the Greeks to deal with without Prodermos, and that could be a really problematic for Kavod, but more about that later on. For now, we do see all the players opened up with the fishing ships, which is kind of normal. That is something you will see absolutely every time. And now we are waiting for the water fight. Last time the water fight did go in the hands of CBB. Quite easy, I would say. Dare to say. Maybe this time around KeeN has some new ideas that they could implement and try and beat CBB on the water. I thought Gaia was banned. Well, yeah, like apparently you can change bans every game, so you get 3 picks and 1 ban every single time you pick. And then you can also repick the maps, repick the gods. Like, the main problem I have with this is I don't really know what I can say about this, right? Like, I'm supposed to kind of like cast this, but like this is something we have seen already. The question is just the execution. Are the players going to be able to execute this in the same manner they did last time, or are they going to make a mistake in doing so and then they're going to be punished for it? Like that's something. Do you like Switzerland? Yeah, I think Switzerland is pretty cool. Beautiful mountains, good nature, Swiss cheese. Just plenty of good stuff with Switzerland. So far everything seems to be calm. I would expect, like, I think if water fight lasts for like 9-10 minutes and you manage to take a TC behind before you lose water, I think you are in a great spot, to be honest. Enlarge minimap. Yeah, my bad. It was enlarged before. I don't know why it flipped. Do you go often to Switzerland? But not really. I've been once or twice. And I have passed through it like a couple of times. But I haven't been lately, no. I mean, yeah, Switzerland is kind of expensive, but I don't think it's that extreme if you're not living in it. It kind of depends, I guess, also what you want to do there and stuff like that. We do see Mosca once again opening a bit faster than Kavod. He's sending his ships to kind of harass, but Kido is in to help Kavod defend, and now Kavod can take his time and actually... What is he doing? So he's making some ships. He's making a hero. Fat fuck Hercules is on the way. Now, what I would love to see actually is Kido going for those hammer ships and then Kavod making only siege and... What's the name of this? Trireme. So I think that would be a good approach. Like, basically, if you're playing a TG like this big, maybe, just maybe, the angle should be to try and fight as a team rather than try and make separate units to counter. And I think KeeN is doing that right now. So Kavod is focusing down the triremes while Kido is dealing with the siege ships. I think that is really what they should do, and it seems to be working quite well for them because CBB on the other side has archer ships and siege ships. So they do not have one type of ship that could be really good here, good addition, and that's hurting them right now. So KeeN has managed to stabilize a bit here. They are gonna do their thing now, although it does seem like CBB is kind of investing heavily on water, and then oh my god, DOD, my bad. And then KeeN is just trying to hold as long as they can. We do see a forest fire somewhere in the base of player, and there is no Gayatri for you, good sir. So Kido has managed to deny the Gayatris from player, which is gonna be nice. Gayatris do provide 5% extra gather it on the trees, so that is good, but it's not the end of the world. Now Grass and Tunison here are in the kind of a stalemate. Both of them invested really big on water, and I don't see how this ends before one of them dies. Now Grass has more ships, if I'm not mistaken. He's also using his Caladrius to kind of tank the damage, which Tennyson is not really doing. That is something that is good for Grass. Grass has to retreat though because he over-invested in these Bareems, and now Tennyson just switched to Siege and he's perfectly fine. So now Grass needs to add some Hammer ships or Fire ships, and that is something that Tennyson is gonna be happy with. Now on this position, it does seem like Kido and Kavod have gathered a significant force, but it still seems that KeeN is kind of doing the thing that I suggested, and then CBB is not really doing it. They're just producing the same ships, both of them, and that could hurt them. Also, it does seem like they really invested hard, but then again, so is KeeN. I guess the military value is kind of equal to a degree. We do see a second TC coming up for Moscow, for Player, for Grass, for Kavod and Kido as well. So everyone has taken a TC except for Tennyson. Grass has switched onto this position, which is a smart decision in my opinion. Now he does have a good front line of hammer ships of Kido, which can be a really good addition, for example, in this fight. But seems like KeeN wants to delete Moscow's fishing economy from the map. They are going hard onto Moscow, trying to absolutely decimate him. He has to idle all of his fish economy, and that will hurt him to a degree. He did take a second TC, so that will slow down the villager production. Restoration coming in from Kawat. Grass cannot really fit all of his ships. He has been attacked from behind by Tennyson, and now KeeN is in a bit of a sandwich here, but this fight does seem quite equal though, I'm not gonna lie. Carnivora has been dropped. Both players dropped Carnivora. One Carnivora got cleaned up immediately. And it does seem like KeeN has lost the water, but they seemingly bought more than enough time to get their TCs up and ready to go. Now, in the last game, KeeN lost water around minute 8. And now that timer has been upped by 2 minutes. Now Grass has his third TC. The front TC has already been taken. Tennyson just taking the second TC right now. And then Player took the third TC right away, which is smart, yes. Caught taking his second TC as well. Now, I don't really like. I think the main thing that you should consider when playing on the Medit, and if you lose water like KeeN did right here, so now CBB does have water advantage and whatnot, but like pop can be problematic here. So if you manage to actually, let's say Kavati will take this TC now, he's gonna move forward and he's gonna try and deny this TC from Moscow. Now that's something that if he manages to do so, that leaves Moscow with 2 TC pop, and he will need trade route. He has fishing ships, which also take pop space, and then he's not really gonna have plenty of pop space for the military. Now that is something that can be problematic in the long run. Grass on the top side doing kind of same thing. He's trying to prevent Tennyson from grabbing this while he already grabbed his 3rd TC. He's gonna be going on to the gold mine. He has plenty of units here, but so does Tennyson. Tennyson is only on 2 TCs and does have water advantage. So that is something he will gladly take. Kavod trying to pressure onto the gold mine. Moscow defending it with only villagers, and Priest is kinda good. He wants to go heroic and try to get those camels. I'm assuming he already has heroic procured. It's gonna go up shortly. Sobek is in, but there is an angle for Kavot and Kido to actually deny the mid goal on this position, which will be absolutely huge. Skadi is also in. Kido is setting up onto this position. He's gonna be providing some help for Kavot. And Kavod has to pull back now. He absolutely cannot fight all these berserkers. He's losing villagers left, right, and center. This is not the way for Moscow, but Moscow will go through with this fight. He's trying to fight all this with the villagers. Pharaoh coming in but he is gonna get sniped, and this is a big win for Kido and Kavot on this position. That's probably gonna mean that Kavot, he will be slowed down significantly, and KeeN will be delighted with the way things went. Now on the other side, Grass still firmly holding onto this third TC of Tennyson. He also has established an infrastructure onto this position. He has his manners. The one thing I would love to see from Grass is getting those economic guilds on the front line, so he has access to his own lush to fight on. He does decide to pull back, but I still think he is in a fine spot. Tennyson, for the time being, does have bigger numbers of Murmillos, but Grass will be able to catch up. He is also aging up through Rhea, which is going to give the access to Traitor and stronger Murmillos as well. Now Tennyson is going up through Rhea as well. He's trying to capitalize on the fact that they won water. He's making this. I love this from Tennyson. This is absolutely amazing. I didn't see anyone else do this, and this is something that you should definitely consider when you win the Medit water fight. So just go in the middle, get 2 dogs down, get some fishing ships going. You have a gold mine as well here in this position. Now on the bottom side of the map, Kido has put a hill fort in the face of Mosca, and Mosca is going to be under heavy pressure. There's also Skadi with the frost. Now the question remains if Kido wants to use the frost right now and kind of try to break through Mosca, or does he want to save frost for the underworld. The fastest is coming through for Player. Player does have plenty of units as well, so he should be able to capitalize on that underworld immediately. There's also a window for opportunity that Player can do the garrison micro and kind of like dodge the frost. That is extremely hard to do, but it's something that you definitely can do. Seems like CBB is gonna be able to hold onto this position. Grass is pushing hard into Tennyson. Both players kind of having the same god path. Eliminates any variety here. There is only Murmillo plus Behemoths on both sides. And it does seem that Tennyson is taking the big victory here. Grass has to retreat. He doesn't really have enough stuff to deal with all these Murmillos. Heavy Murmillos, Bite of the Shark, couple of armory upgrades as well, and on the other side, Grass also has all that. I'm not quite sure how he lost that hard, but yes. Now Kido is gonna be looking like, I think I have seen Kido does this before, and Grass also likes to do it when he's playing Norse in TGs. The back builds go incredibly hard in team games like this. These could be like a big turning factor for the teams. Kido has managed to deny the fortress, but they are not going to be able to push through Mosca here. Mosca and Player have pretty significant forces here. Plenty of throwing axemen in the mix. He is researching the Hunter's Axe special upgrade that Skadi gives for throwing axemen, and he should be able to deal with these infantry units. And now we see once again the Player with the famous underworld play. Where exactly is the underworld being casted? On this position here, so Player is going to be taking the TC. I like how Player uses the underworld actually. Like Kilo said in the game 1, like this stage of the game is where Player shines. So he likes to be in a late game as his Greeks. He's happy with that. That's what he does best, and he strives in those circumstances. Now this underworld kind of gives him the TC, but is not something that's like, we see Kavot using the underworld as well. Now the question is, where is Kavot's underworld? I kind of want to know that. And Kavot's underworld is being casted in the main base. So underworld to prevent underworld is something that I kind of like. Now I think Kido and Kavot do win this fight quite easy. There is simply not enough stuff for CBB at the moment to kind of deal with this. So they would have to abandon this position. TC will go down. There is more stuff coming in for CBB though. They do not wish to relinquish this position that easy. They are going to be pushing hard, but I just don't think there is enough stuff. As I said, TC is going to go down. Underworld probably will go down as well, and KeeN has dealt with the initial schemes of CBB with the Underworld. Couple of towers trying to get up, but that's not gonna happen, my dear friend. This is gonna get denied, and all the villagers will go down. One tower did manage to go up here, but that is gonna go down, and CBB has to bail. The Underworld is going down as well. Great defense from KeeN. Now Grass is actually taking the 40C himself. He is pushing hard into Tennyson. Seems like Tennyson is really struggling to contain Grass here. Grass also has access to more pop space, simply because he's on 3 TCs and Tennyson on 2. Now Grass also has 4 TC coming up for him, which is going to be a great addition. Grass has so many destroyers, and he's kind of mowing through those buildings. Another fortress goes down, and Grass is pushing hard. Another traitor has been used on this Manticore, and seems like Tennyson is losing the steam here. He is going into trade. He is out of gold, ladies and gentlemen. This might be a GG here. Tennyson doesn't have access to this gold mine. He is out of gold. He needs trade, and trade does require a lot of resources. So Tennyson is in big trouble. He needs help. And Grass goes with the Implode. Implode is gonna hit hard in the main base. Now, not many units are gonna be destroyed. I would much rather prefer Implode casted on this side, just simply because there is no monument and there is so many units. There is a monument here, but Implode here would be huge. Now player is making more towers here, and I mean, this is fine also, I guess. It gives him opportunity to push through here. Now the trade route for the other CBB players is also down, and that's gonna hurt 100%. I think player needed to do more damage with the Underworld. I don't think you can do the same trick twice in same series and make it work. That is extremely tough. Now player is sending some units here, but I think it's kind of late. Tennyson has lost basically everything. He does have this TC here, but no army whatsoever, and Grass is just going forward. He's taking the 50C. He can also put some walls on the top side and secure these gold mines, 2 of those, and be completely fine. He doesn't even need to go into trade route. He's just simply making units and pushing forward. And it seems like bottom side of the map is kind of a stalemate. There is a meteor, and I'm assuming it's here. But KeeN is trying to run towards the Underworld, but that's not gonna work. And both Kavot and KeeN kind of lose entirety of their army. Huge value meteor for Mr. Mosca here, but that is not gonna be enough to break through. I mean, KeeN and Kavot can kind of repopulate, and then Mosca is kind of left alone here. Grass is trying to take the 60C. Grass is mad. He wants his revenge. It seems like he's gonna get one. Like, I don't think Tennyson can come back from this. Maybe. He does have so many resources, but he doesn't have pop. He has only 45 pop for military, and that is something that's not even gonna touch Grass's army. Grass has 170 pop, and Tennyson calls it. Player and Mosca will follow, and that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the game 3. KeeN takes the victory 2-1. Alright, we are in the game 4 of the final series of Mythic Clan League between KeeN and CBB. And in the top corner of the map, top right corner of the map, we have CBB. They are gonna be having Teal, Mr. Player. My bad, I didn't click the play. Okay, nice. So, as the pocket player, there is gonna be player playing as Poseidon, Teal. On the bottom side, we will be having Blue, Muskas, Loki, Spicy Loki pick. And on the top side, we have Thor, Tunison's Pink Thor. Now, on the left hand side of the map, we are going to be having KeeN, who are going to be trying to secure their victory in this series. Should I remind you, they are currently up 2-0. As a pocket player, we have KeeN playing as Susano. On the top hand side of the map, as the top flank, we have Kido playing as Thor. And then on the bottom side of the map, orange, there's gonna be Grass as Loki. It's 46 FPS, good streamer. Well, the weather kind of like eased up, so it's not 40 degrees Celsius, it's like 32 now, so it's a bit better, but still. Yo Rush, what's up, man? How are you doing? Maven says, yeah, but good youth players can be picked up and developed by the other countries. Yes, exactly. That is what's happening right now. Like, there are like top prospects from Serbia that are being trained in England, in Slovenia, in Montenegro, in like a bunch of different countries, and they are playing there and not for Serbia, which is unfortunate, but I guess they invested and developed them, so it only makes sense for them to play for those guys. Alright, back to the game. So the map is Tundra. This map is quite an open map. There is plenty of stuff you can do. Also, taking a TC wouldn't go astray, but I wouldn't suggest that as a flank player. Probably as a pocket player, you would be fine taking a TC and kind of chilling. Also, I do think the classical game is a lot stronger for Susano than for Poseidon. So player trying to go for Hippicons should not work if Kavod goes through Inario Kami and gets that Sashimono Bannerman tech, as well as double Kitsune BT upgrade. The Nagnatas should be faster and stronger as well. How Slovenia sports is each chef. Yes, exactly. I mean, that's fair, like Slovenians invested in those guys, so it kind of makes sense for them to play for Slovenia. I am just blaming my country for not recognizing the talent and actually providing a decent care and like stuff like that. All right, so far all the players are kind of chilling. Player is taking a bit of a faster advance, so he is going to be looking to get some damage done, I'm assuming, since he aged up 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That is something that we do not usually see from the Pocket Poseidon players, but player has decided to do so. He's sending that center up. He is also making an Atalanta, but that's gonna take quite some time, and this center is not gonna reach his destination just in time. I mean, he is gonna reach it, but he's gonna be welcomed by probably a Miko, maybe even 2 or 3, it depends. And then I don't think Kvat is gonna have troubles dealing with that, but there is a point, there is a chance. Player did see the wood line kind of exposed and he's gonna go for it, so he might pick some villagers up. Kavot not really reacting. He is aging up though, so he doesn't really have anything to do right now. How many Mikos? There is 2 Mikos. They are currently gathering favors, so Kavot doesn't want to give up on the favor gathering just for so far. 1 Miko does go to deal with the center, and center unfortunate, and this is Oh my god, this is so unfortunate for player. He's gonna lose a center in a really, really lame fashion. The center was kind of stuck here and then foundation and he lost it, and that's gonna hurt him quite a lot. The early center is something you wanna hold on to for at least a couple of minutes. Atalanta is gonna be trying to search for some damage too, though. Miko is a valid option, but she always can garrison into the shrine. One villager does go down, second villager might go down as well. Player doing good damage here, but Kavot on the other side also doing good damage with these Kitsunes. They did not manage to take any kills, but they did idle player's economy for quite some time. I don't really understand this building positioning from player. I would assume player puts the like temple here or here and then like stable and then connects. But I guess that's fine as well. We do see a forest fire onto these forests. Shrine is gonna go down. Atalanta trying to search for some more damage. Double Miko healing. I believe those two out heal the damage Atalanta can put, which is absolutely insane. There are a couple of Hippicons, but Hippicons will be sent packing by the Spider Lady Jorogumo. And that means player has to retreat now. Player is really trying hard to do some damage here, and he is losing units. But Grass is losing some villagers. And now the stable is up. Both players kind of not... Like, I don't really... Okay, Kavot is defending his gold mine, so he's focusing onto that, but... And he also got forest fire, so kind of makes sense. I guess that's cool. The one thing that I don't understand is player's approach here. Grass is trying to put some pressure on player as well. The one house will go down. Hippicon is trying to contest that, but that's not gonna be possible, really. Player's base is completely exposed. Like, he doesn't have anything like protect. So, like, just do this and then put it here and then connect, and you have a safe space for your villagers. And then same here, right? So you have safe space here as well. That's something that you can always do and you should do. Like, this is not protecting anything. Like, Tunison has his base side walled completely, so there's not gonna be anyone coming from there. There is a bit of skirmish here, and seems like player is doing a good job. Kawad has lost a Miko, he's lost a couple of Naginata Riders as well as Kitsunes. Naginata Riders with a Shimono Bannerman actually, but I don't think Kawad has the numbers, so that's why he's losing here. These Hippicons do not have the Spirited Charge as well. Muska is in with his Hersiers, and the Miko does go down. This is some aggressive game. 1 TC play from both teams. They're trying to find damage. Seems like the villager graph is favoring CBB for the time being. They did better job raiding, but that all can change. Ras is trying to find some damage here, but Muska is in place and he's gonna try and defend that. Walls coming up for Muska. Kido has his entire side of the map completely walled. He's also walling for the Kavod, which is something I like to see. This is absolutely amazing. Kido also has raiding cap closing into this position. This might mean player is gonna lose a lot of Hippicons, but Kido didn't really manage to surround. He does catch one Hippicon. That's gonna go down. There is a possibility another one goes down, but that is gonna be it. 2 of them are gonna run away. 3 actually run away. That's unfortunate for Kido, but Kido does have his things sorted. His base is what base should look like. So if anyone is wondering, this is a really good base. Now Kido seems like he has more stuff than Tunison too, which is something that he can exploit. Grass going for his only Hersier kind of thing. But Muska is doing the same thing, I believe. Yes, so all the players are kind of doing same as the other ones. So Muska is going for the full Hersier kind of stuff. He has walled almost everything. Grass is gonna be searching for some damage here, but Mosca does see it with Eyes of the Forest upgrade. His troll is gonna go down, maybe, not really. Mosca didn't really finish walling, so that could be dangerous here. Player doesn't really have enough stuff here to defend, but Mosca's Hersirs are in place. Grass doesn't want to fight that. He wants to go past that. There is a Swampland onto this position to help save Grass's villagers, and that is gonna mean that player has to retreat, but he is gonna be happy though, because Swampland now is out of the way, so he doesn't have to worry about that. On this side, Mosca is taking a fight, but it does seem like he doesn't really have numbers to actually take that fight. Kido putting some pressure onto player here. Player trying to catch this unit, but Kido's reacted fast enough, and he managed to break through the building. He's gonna be running around trying to cause some chaos here. Forest fire, player not paying attention. A lot of damage coming into these units. Kido is gonna play around this forest fire, and Grass will be joining him. Grass does have a spy on his head though. One of the Hersirs do have a spy. So that is something that Grass should be aware of, judging by the reactions. Now this is gonna be a good big fight. Grass and Kido, do they wanna take a fight? I'm assuming no. There is 3 of the CBB players, so that is not something that they wanna engage into. Kavod trying to take advantage of that situation at the back, so he is trying to put some pressure onto the front of the player. Seems like player's base is the point of contest for this game. Everything is happening in his main base. Kido kind of walled the entirety of the base, but there are some Kipikons in the back. Sneaky player managed to sneak them through, but they are gonna be welcomed by a lot of units from Kido, and they had to bail actually. Did Kido find any damage here? The villager graph looks like it's favoring CBB still, like the same exact difference that we saw 5 minutes before. And Kawat is going to be trying to pick some units here. He does have medium Naginata Riders. These should trade incredibly good into player's army right now, and player cannot really take a fight here anymore versus these bad boys. These are, but I'm not sure why Kawat is targeting the wall chips instead of this segment. He's trying to kill the chip. Mosca running in. Mosca is going to be looking for some damage here. He could find something here. I do believe Grass has some villagers here. Grass does need to pay attention here. If he does not pay attention, this could be a really big opportunity for Moscow. But Grass is here. He has the Valkyrie and the Battle Boar and plenty of Hersirs. So if I'm being honest here, guys, it seems like both players are playing the same stuff. Like they're doing the same thing. The only exception here is Kavod playing Susano and player playing Poseidon. But they're both spamming Cav units, so it's kind of like same as well. There is a possibility for Kavod to find some damage here in the back of the Moscow's base. Moscow does have plenty of economy in the back, so if he manages to sneak through it, that could be huge. He is, for the time being, kind of occupied with the situation in the middle versus Grass. They are at the standoff currently. They do not want to engage, but both of them are kind of looking. Kido trying to flank, but Grass is not reacting. Grass just now pulling back. A bit of a late reaction from Grass, but Kido does maneuver this quite good. He's trying to block the units. Grass going forward. There is a possibility that KeeN will be pushing this position, but player does decide to call the ceasefire because his villagers were caught by Naginata Riders. And the problem for player is he doesn't really have any units that could deal with this. He needs Prodormus or Hippicons with the Trajan horses, or else he's not really able to deal with the Naginata Riders in Classical Age. That's something that he is aware of, and he is going through Dionysus. That's going to be bronze available, but that also means that Mosca is gonna be under a double attack here without player being able to help, since he's aging up and doesn't really have all that many units. Now, Mosca and Grass do have flaming weapons both. Grass uses his, Mosca not using his. He's holding on to them. Why is he holding just cast the flaming weapons. Now he cast, but now KeeN's army is in as well. And that's gonna be really tough for Mosca to fight. Mosca trying to run, I guess. The flaming weapons are kind of wasted. Player coming in with the bronze, but bronze versus flaming weapons, not really what you want to see here. Flaming weapons do kind of counter bronze to a degree. Huge iron respawn for Mosca, but on the other side as well for Grass, and that's gonna be advantage CBB, I guess. There's also a great trade by Kavod. Kavod managed to sneak through, but now player's army is available to deal with those, although he does have Thracian horses but no heavy. I guess that's not the biggest of problems. He still should have an upper hand, and that means KeeN has to retreat. Now, judging by the score, Tunison seems like he's in a great spot. He has been on a free TCs for quite some time. No one has touched him. So he does have a really good situation on hands, but he has taken the flaming weapons, and Kida does have frost, so Kida doesn't really have to worry about the flaming weapons angle. He can always use frost. The towers are in as well, and Kida kinda these frost giants are absolutely amazing. He managed to freeze one battle boar. There is a Kusanagi onto the units of Tunis, and it seems like Kido is going to be able to hold more units coming in to help. Naginata Riders plus some Raiding Cavalry coming in from the other side, and it does seem like Kido is going to be able to hold. Even though it looked quite menacing when Tunison came, his economy is definitely out of the roof, but it seems like he cannot really break through here. There is two people he is fighting though, so that gives time to player and Mosca to kinda replenish their forces and stabilize a bit. But Grass is gonna be going for another full Herser attack. He's just restless. He doesn't care. He just wants Hersers and he wants all of them. So he's just gonna be spamming Hersers. There is a Battle Boar plus Mountain Giant. They are going to be destroying things. There is a bit of a sneaky goldmine here that Grass can definitely raid if he chooses so. But he is not really going for that approach. I would love to see a couple of Hersers just making their way towards that goldmine and try and do some damage there. Mountain Giant coming in for Mosca. Valkyrie for Grass. And these Battle Boars and Mountain Giants should be able to take down the TC. TC is going to go down, and seems like Grass is winning the fight too, which is absolutely insane. Grass has been beaten in a previous fight really badly, and he has managed to repop and actually come back and destroy Mosca here. Mosca is in a tough situation here. He has his Hersers, but he's gonna have to pull back. Player has to come and help, which he's gonna do. But then again, these Hippicons are not gonna do all that good versus Hersers. That's kind of a... But so many Hippicons coming in. Another flaming weapons from Grass. Yep. This is absolute madness. Grass has 127 favor, and he used flaming weapons on the other side. Mosca has 260 favor. That's just amazing. Mosca has been broken through. Grass is going to be marching forward. The Kavod is going to be trying to contest this huge army of Hippicons. But I don't think these Naginata Riders actually do all that much. But there are some raiding cab from Kido as well. Kido is playing two sides as well as Kavod. These guys are doing an incredible work. But ceasefire has been called upon. But I would love to see some Yari Spearmans for Kavod here on this position. I think those would be a great addition, especially since player is heavily into Hippicons, so that is something that Kavod can punish really hard in the future engagements if player do not switch from Hippicons, or if he doesn't join with the army of his teammate. Now this army is not gonna do all that well. Hydra is getting sniped right away. Kido is in with his raiding cab. Kavot as well. KeeN is pushing onto this position. Tunison is forced to come as well. Tunison is on 4 DCs. He is really strong right now, but can he take a fight versus 3 people alone? There are a couple of players units, but these are not gonna do well. Flaming weapons from Tunison is being casted, but there is a swampland from Kavot. Kavot does have Raijus, but Raijus cannot go through. Just now we saw one special attack. It seems like KeeN is gonna win this fight. On the other side, we have seen the usage of Frost. There is a Fimble Winter from Tunison as well. Kavot with a good reaction. He's trying to help Kido defend this, and Kido should be fine. Another Thunderburst from Kavot as well, and KeeN will be pushing in the main base of players. Seems like Mosca has been entirely deleted from this map. He does have enough villagers and units to actually do something still. There is an earthquake from player onto this position. Kido will be losing a lot of infrastructure here, but I don't think that's the end of the world here. He can always rebuild it, and didn't really lose a lot of houses, I believe. He did lose so many houses. Kido needs to rebuild. He needs at least a minute to stabilize here, but I do think he will have enough time. Although Mosca did a great job saving his villagers, so that's a saving grace here. Tunison has spiraled out, so KeeN has to kind of like do something about that, or Tunison is going to be extremely tough to deal with. He is already, but so Tunison is menacingly walking around. Kavot will engage him. He does have a couple of Raijas, but there are a couple of Hersers as well, so these Raijas are not going to be all that scary for Tunison in a head-on fight. Now Grass is taking the second TC just now with 1 Herser. No third TC for Kavot. Second TC is in for Kido though. Kido with the Ragnarok angle. Let's fucking go. So Kido kind of betting everything on that only push. If he can coordinate it good enough with his teammates, I think that is gonna work 100%. Now Grass is still pressuring hard everywhere actually. He's just putting the pressure on. He's trying to search for villages. He's taking the main TC of Mosca. And it seems like Kavot and Kido will be able to hold Tunison here. There is a world where player goes fastest. I would love that much more. And spam Hetaroi. I think Hetaroi would be really good versus Hersers. But he went with Artemis. That is something that I generally don't really do. Playing Poseidon. I don't really like that. Did the Grass manage to snipe more? No. All the villagers from Mosca are here. He's trying to get some village centers going. There is a Dwarven Goldmine for him onto this position. He is also hunting here. He does have some units, so I'm guessing he's fighting with Tunison here, or what? Or building. Something is happening, but I'm not sure. Where are Mosca's units? They are running around trying to cause some damage, but there's only 5 Hersers, and that shouldn't be the worst thing to deal with. Kido does have some Berserkers in the back that are going to be able to deal with this, while Grass is just pushing more. He's trying to overwhelm player here, and Mosca had to come back with some of his Hersers to help player deal with this situation here. What I want to see is Grass's favor. Grass has an incredible amount of favor, although he is having some shenanigans happening in his base, but he has dealt with them. Main TC of Kido is gonna go down though. I believe Kavot kinda has to reroute his army onto this position and help, because Kido here is really having troubles. Kavot is in, but Tunison has how many pop? Tunison with the 155 military pop. Tunison is just incredibly strong, but Kido did decide to pull the trigger, and he has access to almost 100 heroes of Ragnaroks, which I believe all the upgrades are translating to those. Yes, but Kido doesn't really have plenty of upgrades, which is unfortunate. Now Tunison is going to be trying to hold. He's building a hill for here. He has so many units. Like I said it 2 times already, I would love to see some Yari Spearmen from Kavod just to deal with these Cav units. They are incredibly good versus Cav. There's also plenty of throwing X-Men for Tunison, so he's not going to be having that hard time versus those Heroes of Ragnarok. Kido trying to take his DC back. There is a Swampland onto this position. Kavod trying to give Kido enough time to deal with this, and it seems like they are going to be able to do so. TC is back up. Now the question is, what's Grass doing? It seems like Grass has been chased away, but Grass is taking this TC now. He's being a pest. He's trying to pressure everywhere. But Tunison's army seems unstoppable. I have to say, this army seems incredibly strong. Now Kido has managed to push a bit, but he doesn't have a single villager, 5 of those. And then Tunison's Q is absolutely gigantic, although there is a Dragon Typhoon from Kavod. This is gonna be huge. This is gonna give the time that they need, actually, or maybe not. So Tunison is able to instantly repopulate, I feel like. But it will give time to clean this situation up, and then maybe, possibly, try and deal with these TCs in the front. It's gonna be extremely tough though, but Kavod has champion units now. Grass is drawing attention to him by, like, Mosca and player are focusing on Grass, so Tunison is fighting this alone. So that does give Kido and Kavod enough time to actually do something here. Fimbulwinter coming in from Mosca as well. That's gonna hurt the economy. We can see the villager numbers dwindling down. So many dead villagers. Fimbulwinter doing the work. And these Jarls are gonna be extremely tough for Kido to deal with. Once again, I think Yari Spearmen here for Kavod would do wonders. They would absolutely decimate these Jarls on the front. The question is how you deal with this backline. Probably, maybe Kavod can go into mid units here. That is an option as well. Kavod trying to get this position for himself. He had managed to push back all the villagers from the hunt and the gold mine. Another Thunderburst has been used here. Kido going in with a couple of fire giants that could help. Tunison does have... Oh my god. All the dead throwing X-Men, that has to hurt. But as I said, Tunison does have an incredibly strong economy, so it's not going to be the end of the world for him. Although Kido should be stabilizing by now. Maybe he can do some village centers just to help repopulate. Grass has been chased away from here as well, and now player is gonna be pushing into Grass. Mosca is being sneaky. He's taking the back DC of Grass, and he's also raiding with a lot of wolves. He has 9 wolves, 7.6 speed. This is absolutely impossible to catch. And we do see a dog from Mosca. Your Murder Elver's spammage can begin. Mosca doing great job considering his main base got erased and he doesn't really have any pop space. And Grass calls it. Kavod calls it. Kido calls it. GG, well played from CBB. We will see a game 5 here. This was an incredible series, actually. I'm kind of curious to see... Incredible game, sorry. GG's, bro. It's 2-2. Yes, we have another game coming up. I just want to check the graph real quick. I'm kind of curious to see how Moscow was doing. So, I guess leaving Tunison on free TCs for so long was a mistake. Tunison took all the time he needed, and he kind of managed to outboom absolutely everyone. Grass did. I think KeeN was kind of late with TCs, but they did have a plan though. Try to do it. Like Mosca didn't have a TC up until like 28 minutes, from 19 to 28. Mosca had 0 TCs. Although he did a good job hiding his villagers, so he wasn't really out of the game. 50 villagers is not the worst. But yeah, it was a tough game. Well played to CBB. Mosca did the work with the villager kills. Yo, big raid, my boy. Thanks for the raid, Mr. Boyd. Hope your stream went well. Everyone, welcome. We are doing the same thing that Boyd did. We're casting the Mythic Clan League. We're currently going into the 5th game of the series. I believe you guys know it's currently 2-2. Eric is watching that football. Alright, so we can jump into the drafting and see what players are going to pick for the game 5. Alright, we should be good to go. Yes, we have a message in chat. You need to think of it as the first iteration of TG. Turney, if you watch League of Legends, it was also mirror same picks 24/7 up until recently when fearless draft started being common. I mean, I do understand that, but like I do think that we didn't need to experiment with that. Like making a possibility for the maps to be repeated was kind of deemed to be like pretty stale and like I don't know. All right, we have the game 5. This is the map similar to Aislan Oasis we saw earlier. So like the players are not in order, so you are kind of like in between your enemies. So the top screen of the teams doesn't really say much. So we're gonna do it like this. So in the top side of the map for the CBB, we have Mosca as Loki. In the bottom right corner, bottom right side of the map, actually, we have Tennyson playing as Thor, and in the left side of the map, we have player playing as Gaia. Now for the KeeN, in the top left side, we have Kido playing as Freyr. In the bottom left side, we have Kavod playing as Gaia, and in the top right side, we have Grass as Loki. Now map, as I said, is pretty interesting. It should provide some really fun and intense moments. However, this map seems a lot easier to secure than the Aislan Oasis from what I can see here. So there's also like a tiny little structure in the middle that gives you resources. I believe one resource that of your choosing, and it scales with the age you're in. So in archaic age you get 0.5 and so on. Like I think it scales, it should scale. Like I'm 100% sure. I'm just not sure how many resources is that. Now the same kind of thing applies for this map as well as the Aislan Oasis. I think taking a second TC here is quite dangerous, at least early on. Like after some time and like after you establish a bit of advantage, I guess it's completely fine to take a TC. But before that, it could be really problematic and put you in a tough spot, which of course you do not want to be in. Now, judging by the teams, like these teams are like almost pretty much mirrored. So we have double Norse on both sides, but Thor and Freyr are the only difference, and then double Gaia, one Gaia on CBB side, one Gaia on KeeN side. Now I'm expecting Oceanus from both Gaia players, and then probably for Seti for all the Norse players that have Forseti. That means that only Freyr is excluded from there, and Freyr is gonna go Uller. So that's gonna be a nice little addition with the Guardian Bastion to kind of lock in the position KeeN chooses. As I said, this is a lot easier to kind of secure looking at it. So this Guardian Bastion might come really handy here for the KeeN. It also could open an opportunity for the ram push. Like there is a possibility that KeeN might go for some ram timing push with the other player. Like for example, let's say Kavot on this side. So Kavot and KeeN kind of go coordinated push, and KeeN has a couple of rams that could be really problematic for. Actually, ignore me. I'm messed up the colors, but like the same thing can be like, so this is Mosca, this is KeeN, grass, and then KeeN, and then they can do like a coordinated kind of attack on Mosca, which would be extremely good. KeeN already trying to wall his side. Mosca did spot it, but he cannot really contest it.
Hello, motherfucker.
Honing Yoshi with the follow. Thanks, man. Appreciate it very much. Hope you enjoy your stay here. Okay, so Mosca here is gonna try and break through this wall, but I do think this is kind of a waste of time. He can't really do anything. KeeN does have some units in the position, so it's not gonna be the biggest of problems for KeeN, and KeeN might even kill a Hearser or two. Although there is a healing spring for Mosca, so Mosca might even want to take this trade so he can farm favor. There is a possibility for that as well. Grass here though is putting some real pressure onto Tunison. Tunison struggling to hold. Not really struggling, but he is gonna lose in armory. Grass is microing his Hersers, trying to pull back ones that have no HP. No one really cares about this poor troll. This poor troll is just chilling here, trying to snipe those throwing X-Men. Tunison will be sniping that one just now. And that is one that's troll, and Grass has to pull back. Now Grass did manage to prevent this from being walled. So that is something the Grass will be happy with. Now he does have a healing spring as well, so he's not gonna be disappointed with the earlier trade he took. He's gonna heal his units. There is a Valkyrie coming in from Tunison. Forest Fire has been used, but Grass reacts immediately and he's able to deal with this. Not the best usage of Forest Fire from Mr. Tunison. He's trying to bait those Hersers, but Grass is paying attention, so that's not gonna be the problem for him. Now, as Guardian Bastion has been dropped onto this position, so it's gonna be it's gonna secure this gold mine and this hunt. So KeeN is gonna be happy with that. He does have a couple of units to defend if needed, but Mosca is not really showing any intent on pushing, at least not that hard. He does have a couple of Hersers, but that's basically it. Now Grass is coming back. This wall did get finished, so Grass is gonna have to go through this. Tunison is trying to get this orcs, but that's not gonna be easy with Grass around. Like basically KeeN can just repair this. Prayer doesn't really take any damage, any cost for the repair stuff, so he can just repair while Mosca doesn't really have any ranged units and be completely fine. Now Kavot and Freyr and player are playing Mermilo Wars. Kavot did decide to mix in a Cairo Ballista, so that should help. And he's here on top of that, so he cannot really be eaten by the Carnivora. Player casts Carnivora, another Carnivora by Kavot. We'll love to see a little Mermilo Wars, Mermilo violence. Villager trying to chase this Carabalist away, but good micro by Kavod, keeping that one alive with Caladia, and seems like after all is said and done, Kavod takes the victory here in this skirmish, and player has to retreat. But player is on the rush, so disengaging is not going to be a problem for him. Now Tunison is pushing hard into Grass right now. Grass is struggling to keep up with Tunison at the moment. Tunison mixing in some throwing X-Men should be a great answer to those Hersers that Grass has, and Grass is having problems right now. He might be in some trouble here. Healing Spring is still in the hands of Grass, so Tunison didn't manage to take that one out, but Tunison will be taking this one when the tower goes down. He's kind of like walling everything. This is a truly interesting way to play this wall in the main base of Grassing Room as well. Tunison is taking this Healing Spring. Grass trying to take this himself, but it does seem like he is not having the best time of his life here. Now Kido, I got everything messed up complete. So Kavod was beaten, player was pushing, and now Kido did join forces with Kavod to push player, and player is under a lot of pressure. While I don't really know what Mosca is doing at the moment. So Mosca is coming up with some of his units. He did go through Heroic. He does have access to the flaming weapons, and that's gonna be a big help. Player kind of managing to bug out units for Kido. Kido has to go around this forest, the Gaia forest.
Hello, motherfucker.
Goraki with the follow. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hope you have great time here with us. Means a lot, that little follow. Alright, now, so Mosca is sending everything he has towards the base of player, and some of the units did go for the opposite route to the base of Kido, but Kido has his base in a way that it cannot be pushed that easily. He also has stone walls, so that's gonna be one more thing to break through actually for Mosca. Now Kavod is coming in with his Murmillos, and this, I don't really think Mosca has enough army to be taking this fight, especially with Kavod running around with his Murmillos. Mosca trying to split his army and kind of buy some time to gather more units, because flaming weapons is casted throughout the entirety of the map, so if he takes fight on 2 different locations, that is something that is extremely good. Now Grass got walled in by Tunison, but Grass didn't lose the entirety of his army, so he's still able to hold. And he's gonna be looking for that heroic. If he gets flaming weapons, that could be an angle he needed to push. But Tunison walling him in is kind of funny. Tunison searching around, trying to find some damage, but there is absolutely nothing he can raid on this position, and Grass's army is in the only spot that Tunison could raid. While Tunison is looking for the raid, Grass is going to do the same, but on the opposite side, he's going to go into the base of Mosca, and Mosca does have a spot in his base that is not walled. This could be really dangerous. Mosca's army is kind of out of position. He's gearing up for the big push towards Kido, but it's going to be extremely tough. Kido has a really good army right now. He's going through A gear as well, so that's gonna be Tempest, and that is gonna shut down all possible pushes into Kido's base. Even maybe, just maybe, give him an opportunity to push himself. Kawat is pushing into the base of player. Player does have a really good army here. Medium Murmillo. Medium Murmillo on both sides. Now there is a spy here, so player is aware of the army of of Kavod at all times. Now players do engage in another Murmillo on Murmillo violence. Player does manage to swallow this Cairo Ballista. That's gonna be big for him. And this Cairo Ballista for player is holding strong. But it seems like Kavod is breaking through here. Kavod does have more Murmillos, I feel like. There is another big fight happening in the base of Mosca. Kido does have access to Tempest as well. Grass with the flaming weapons, and Mosca has flaming weapons as well. So there is plenty of heroic god powers on the menu. We do see all of them casted at once. This is gonna hurt Grass. Grass could very well just convert all those bad boys and try to fight or run or whatever, but seems like Mosca's base has been destroyed as well. Mosca does have 11 Hersiers in this position. They are not going to be taking any fights whatsoever while these flaming weapons for Grass is on. And the question right now is just who's going to save more villagers. So both Grass and Mosca are basically without the main base. Mosca though does have a more army and a better quality of army, so that's something that Grass is not going to be happy with. Now Kido here does have a pretty strong army, I mean, if I may say, but it's mainly throwing X-Men, and throwing X-Men do not do all that good versus Jarls, so that's gonna be a problem. Player also pushing into Kavod. Kavod is fine though. He's waiting on his heroic. He's gonna be putting his Hesperid's tree in his main base, and he's gonna be chilling. Both players going the same god, but I feel like players are mirroring each other. That's like I don't understand it either, Maiden. Like it's okay, one thing I know is Grass's main base is kind of leveled, so Grass doesn't have a main base anymore. He is migrating everything he has to the other side. How many villagers he has? 10 villagers, but he does have a full almost 100 pop army, which is good, I guess. He is gonna be rushing towards player to try and help Kavod deal kill player, I guess. That is certainly something worth considering. Mosca did manage to survive actually, so that means only Grass is out of the game for the time being. That also puts KeeN on the timer. They have to do something or else they are gonna be kinda cooked. Now Tunison is gonna be taking the third TC here, fourth TC. Yes, 4 TCs for Tunison. Once again a great game for Tunison, but player has been tripled right here, and it's gonna be extremely tough for player to hold this. Kavod is sending money to Grass to kind of buy gold, actually, to kind of make a village center, and the TC from player has been taken down now. Player is gonna be in big troubles. He needs his teammates to actually do something here. Tunison is sending his army towards Kavod's base. Gonna be really tough. Player needs to hold this, but he is currently under a big siege. Another flaming weapons from Grass. That's gonna be huge. Some horses in the back of Kavod's base, but this should be the end of player. Player 100% cannot hold this push alone. Mosca is trying to put some pressure on different sides, but Kido does have 2 Asgardian bastions. He should be fine here. Grass is taking this TC. Great villager migration. It's just the question if those villagers are gonna get spotted or not, and the answer is no. No one is spotting those bad boys. Grass does see with the peak of his eye that there is something sketchy happening here, but he doesn't react, and these villagers will be vacating their positions towards the base of Mosca. So I guess it's equal right now. Both teams lost one player. One player has been run down. But now Kavot is under a great siege from Tunison. Tunison has an incredibly strong army here. He is gonna be pushing hard, but this Atlantean army is really strong. So that's seems like that's gonna be plenty enough to hold. So Grass only really lost his TC, so that's not the biggest of deals. I guess he does have another TC on the left side. Mosca is trying to put some pressure on every single position here. He's pressuring the TC, pressuring those manors. Kido isn't trying to help. Kido took the TC of Mr. Player. So Player lost all of his buildings. Now it seems like the same thing that happened in the last game is kind of repeating. Like Tennyson in last game was also giga strong. He had an amazing economy, 3 TCs for such a long time. Now he has 5 TCs. He has even more. There is a Fimbulwinter from Mosca. That's gonna be really painful. Just look at the villager numbers on this side. That's gonna go down significantly, or maybe not. I guess all the players reacted quite quickly, but that's not gonna be the biggest of deals. But the one thing that is quite noticeable is that villager differential is quite huge in favor of CBB, although KeeN does have an advantage in army. Moscow also took a second TC, even third TC, so that's gonna be something that, like, Kido also taking over. I guess this is the time where people take a TCs there. They have done their fighting, they want to have more pop, so they are gonna be taking all the TCs. And these balls everywhere are really something. Moscow building a great China wall. Seems like Tennyson has been able to break through Kavod here. A couple of Kido berserkers are also on the spot trying to help, but Tennyson has really strong army. KeeN needs to do something, and they need to do something real quick, or else this is gonna be, the results are gonna be the same as the last game. Now Grass is trying to catch those villagers, but player is quick with reaction. He does have a village center here, but these villagers are going to be under attack, and there are units everywhere. Kido just has units everywhere. He also has the Dryad, the Hesper tree, which is going to be a great help though, if I'm being honest. But on the other side, Kavod has been entirely defeated. He does have a proxy base here, but he also needs help. There is absolutely no way he can hold on his own. He needs help. Flaming weapons are casted on this position. Mosca is going to be trying to break through Kido's army. And it seems like he is going to be doing so successfully, but there is a Tempest casted from Kido. That's going to give Kido enough time to kind of shoot and scoot, but it doesn't look all too good for Kido. As well, Grass is trying to fight onto this position. Tunison is funneling units onto here as well, trying to help Mosca defend, but players lost his village center, which is unfortunate, but their main threat in this game is Tunison. Player is kind of dead. So and CBB actually takes game 5. GG, well played to both teams. CBB advances to the grand finals. KeeN will be playing in the losers bracket finals for another chance to get like play against CBB. Kilo not on KeeN. Quite an amazing series we had here. I kind of wonder if, yeah, Tennyson with the can you tell me, Tennyson, if this was like on purpose mirroring each other, or was that something like it accidentally happened? Or were you guys like mirroring each other on purpose? That's kind of like funny if that was the case. How you destroy grass so easy? What I mean is Gaia, Loki, and then I mean this is not the mirror, but yeah. I mean it could be possible that's like a coincidence. But I was like under impression you guys are trying to mirror each other and like, you know. Was lucky. KeeN without Kilo is like UCA player with the big words in the chat.